What if the back of your own hand was hiding a secret switch? A hidden key that could release the emotions you've been carrying for years without even realizing it. No expensive therapy, no complicated meditation, just a simple touch, and suddenly the heaviness inside you begins to melt away. Take a moment, right now. Lift up your hand, turn it around, and look at the back of it. Have you ever thought that in this small, ordinary place, there might be an extraordinary power waiting to be discovered? I'm your friend from the Spine Gospel, and today we are stepping into a journey that may turn out to be one of the most unexpected discoveries of your life. But before we go deeper, let me ask you something simple. Where are you watching this video from right now? Are you lying in your room, resting after a long day? Sitting in your office during a stressful break? Or maybe traveling on a bus, lost in your own thoughts? Tell me in the comments below, because I genuinely want to know the space where you are listening to the story of your own hands. And while you're at it, lift your right hand again. Look at the back of it. For years, you've used this hand to write, to eat, to work, to hold others. But today, you'll discover that the back of this same hand may also hold a hidden secret, the power to release blocked emotions. Now you might be wondering, what are blocked emotions? My friend, we all carry feelings that we never expressed. Moments of sadness, anger, fear, disappointment. Instead of releasing them, we often bury them. And with time, they don't just disappear. They settle inside us. We don't always notice them directly, but they show up in strange ways. A sudden heaviness, unexplained tiredness, random stress, or a quiet sadness we can't put into words. But imagine this. What if those very emotions could be released by something as simple as gently pressing the back of your hand? Would you give yourself the chance to try it? Let me know in the comments. Do you believe such a simple practice could bring relief into your life? In this video, I'm going to guide you step by step through a practice that starts with nothing more than the back of your hand. No extra tools, no complicated rituals, just you, your breath, and your hand. And the beauty of this technique is that it connects to ancient wisdom as well. Across cultures, hands have always been seen as keys of healing. A mother's touch, a blessing from a healer, a friend's hand on your shoulder. Hands carry energy, and today you'll learn how to direct that energy inward for your own healing. So imagine you're sitting in stillness, eyes gently closed. You place your fingers on the back of your hand, pressing lightly, breathing slowly. And suddenly you begin to notice something shift, like a hidden weight dissolving, like untold stories leaving your body like air. That's the hidden doorway. We are about to step through the doorway to releasing blocked emotions through something as simple and as close as the back of your own hand. Have you ever had one of those mornings where you wake up after what should have been a full night of sleep, yet you still feel heavy? Or maybe you've been walking through your day and suddenly, without any clear reason, a wave of sadness or irritation takes over you. It doesn't seem to connect to anything happening in the moment, but it lingers, weighing you down. That, my friend, is not random. It's a signal. A quiet whisper from your body that says, I'm holding on to something you never let go of. This is the reality of blocked emotions. Feelings that never found a voice. Moments that were never expressed. Energies that got trapped inside you and never completed their journey. Think of emotions as energy in motion. They are meant to move through us, to rise and fall like waves in the ocean. When you feel joy, you laugh. When you feel sadness, you cry. When you feel anger, your body releases it through words, action, or sometimes even tears. But what happens when you don't let that wave move? When you silence the cry, swallow the anger, or hold back the truth you so badly wanted to speak? The wave doesn't disappear, it simply freezes inside you. Blocked emotions are those frozen waves. They are like letters you wrote but never sent, waiting in the body's mailbox with no address. You may forget the moment, but your body remembers. Your mind may move on, but your nervous system keeps the imprint. How do you know if you're carrying these unsent letters inside you? The body speaks in whispers and sometimes in shouts. Here are some of the ways blocked emotions show up. Physical signs: tightness in the chest, unexplained headaches, tension in the shoulders, digestive issues, or constant fatigue, emotional signs, irritability over small things, sudden waves of sadness, or a sense of emptiness even when life seems fine, behavioral signs, avoiding certain conversations, procrastinating on important things, or overreacting in situations that don't deserve such a strong response. Sometimes you may notice your body clench up when someone raises their voice, even if they're not angry at you. Or you may feel tears well up at the simplest things, a song, a movie, a stranger's kindness. These are not overreactions. These are echoes of emotions that never had their moment to be felt. So let me ask you, do any of these sound familiar to you? Have you noticed your body holding on to something your mind thought it had already let go of? Share with me in the comments, because acknowledging is the first step to releasing. If emotions are natural, why don't we just let them flow? The truth is, most of us were never taught how to. As children, many of us heard phrases like, "Don't cry, be strong," or "Good kids don't get angry." We learned to suppress our natural emotional responses in order to be accepted or praised. Over time, suppression became second nature. Then there's trauma. When something deeply painful happens, the brain often protects us by shutting down the full experience of those feelings. It's a survival mechanism, but survival mode doesn't always switch off. The feelings remain tucked away, frozen in the body, and of course, modern life adds its own layer. We are constantly rushing, working, scrolling, distracting ourselves. Who has time to sit and actually feel? So instead, we push emotions to the background, stack them up and hope they disappear. Spiritually speaking, when this happens, our natural energy, call it prana, chi, or life force, gets stuck. It's like a river that should flow freely, but instead, small stones keep piling up until the water slows down and stagnates. The beautiful thing is, both science and spirituality point to the same truth. Emotions live in the body. Modern psychology and neuroscience have shown us that trauma and unexpressed feelings are stored physically. Books like The Body Keeps the Score reveal how the nervous system and muscles hold memories that the conscious mind has long forgotten. Therapies like somatic experiencing are built on this idea that to heal, you must feel in the body, not just talk in the mind. On the other side, ancient spiritual traditions have always known this. In yoga, blocked emotions are linked to imbalances in the chakras. In Chinese medicine, energy meridians can become congested, leading to both emotional and physical issues. Reflexology maps out points on the hands and feet that correspond to emotional release. Science uses the language of neurons and the nervous system. Spirituality uses the language of energy and flow. But both agree, emotions don't just vanish. They transform, and they wait for release. So imagine this. You've been walking around carrying an invisible backpack. Inside it are heavy stones, each stone an unexpressed emotion. Some are big, like grief from a loss. Others are small, like a childhood moment when you weren't allowed to cry. Over the years, the backpack grows heavier. But because it's invisible, you forget it's even there. You just feel tired, weighed down, restless. The good news? You don't need anyone else to take that backpack off. You already carry a simple hidden key, right on the back of your own hand. And with the right touch, the right awareness, you can begin to lift those stones out, one by one. Take a moment and look at your own hands. Really look at them. What do they mean to you? Are they just tools for holding, typing, eating, and working? Or could they be something more? A bridge between your inner world and the outer one. Think about it. With these same hands, you've touched people you love, you've wiped away tears, you've created, built, and maybe even prayed. They've carried memories and emotions just as much as your heart has. Let me ask you right now, where are you watching this video from? And tell me in the comments, what's the very first word that comes to your mind when you think about your hands? Across every culture, hands have always held sacred meaning. In Christianity, hands are raised in blessing, joined in prayer, or extended in offering. In Hinduism, Mudras, intricate hand gestures, are seen as channels to direct divine energy. In Buddhism, meditation itself is often guided by the position of the hands, the gesture of fearlessness, the gesture of compassion, the gesture of inner balance. In Islam, hands are raised in dua, an intimate act of connection with the divine. Even outside religion, hands are universal signs of human connection. The firm grip of a handshake, the comfort of holding someone's hand or raising a hand to take an oath. From ancient rituals to everyday gestures, hands have always been a language of the soul. But the wisdom of hands is not only symbolic, it is energetic. Every hand is filled with meridian points, nerve endings, and reflex zones that map the entire body. Ancient systems like acupuncture and reflexology saw the hands as mirrors of our inner state. Energy healers today, whether practicing Reiki or pranic healing, still use palms to transmit vibrations of balance and calm. Even science shows us that hands have one of the highest concentrations of nerve endings in the body. That's why simply placing your own hand on your chest or forehead can calm you instantly. Have you ever noticed that? Why do you think the simple act of placing your hand on yourself feels so healing? It's because your hands are not just physical extensions of your body. They are spiritual tools, channels of comfort, and bridges of energy. Yet most of the time, when people talk about the power of hands, they talk about the palms. The palms are where we receive, where we give, where we touch and feel. But there is another side, often forgotten, almost ignored. The back of the hand. On the surface, it may seem ordinary, less important than the palms, but spiritually and symbolically it carries its own quiet power. Think about it. The palm is what we show, but the back of the hand is what we often turn away. It represents the things we hide, the emotions we push aside, the truths we suppress. While the palm is open to the world, the back of the hand is turned inward, more private, more mysterious. This is why pressing or stimulating the back of the hand can open a doorway into emotions we never knew were waiting to be released. Just as energy healers use the palms to transmit, the back of the hand may serve as a mirror of what we've been holding back. Imagine it as a forgotten key, a simple surface of skin, bones, and veins that holds the map of emotions we pushed away long ago. We've used our palms for connection with the outside world, but the back of the hand holds the secrets of the world inside us. If you think about it, our hands have always been storytellers of emotion, even when our lips stayed silent. A clenched fist speaks of anger or resistance. Trembling fingers reveal fear. A gentle touch speaks love without words. Even children, before they can talk, use their hands instinctively, grabbing a parent's finger, covering their face when shy, reaching out when they want comfort. Hands are the body's truth-tellers. They reveal emotions we sometimes don't dare to speak. And if hands can express emotions outwardly without words, is it really so surprising to think they can also help us release emotions inwardly? Across cultures, across centuries, and across countless spiritual practices, hands have been treated as sacred extensions of the soul. They are vessels of prayer, channels of healing, storytellers of unspoken emotions. And yet, among all their powers, there is something quietly profound about the back of the hand, a place most of us rarely consider, but which holds the hidden wisdom of release. So the question becomes, how can we use this forgotten wisdom? How can pressing the back of your hand become a key to unlocking emotions you didn't even know you were carrying? Stay with me, because in the next part, we will explore exactly how this simple act can open a path toward healing, freedom, and lightness in your own life. What if the key to releasing years of hidden emotions was already with you, resting quietly on the back of your own hand? What if this simple, ordinary part of your body held a doorway to healing that your heart has been waiting for? Right now, take a moment and look at the back of your hand. Really see it. The lines, the bones, the way the skin stretches. Most of us glance at it without thought. Yet today, you'll discover it as a key. This is not about superstition or magic tricks. It's about awakening the wisdom your body already carries. You might be wondering, Why the back of the hand? Why not the palms, which are always talked about in prayer, blessings, and touch? The answer lies in both symbolism and science. The palms are what we show to the world, the part that reaches out to give and to receive. But the back of the hand is what we often turn away. It represents what we hide, what we push aside, what we suppress. Pressing on the back of your hand is like knocking on a door your subconscious has kept closed for years. Spiritually, it mirrors the act of uncovering what's been buried deep inside. From a psychological and scientific perspective, there's more. The back of your hand is rich with nerve pathways and reflex zones. When you apply gentle pressure there, you activate signals that travel up through your nervous system, awakening areas your mind usually ignores. It's very similar to acupressure or reflexology, simple touch creating profound shifts in awareness. This blend of symbolism and science makes the back of the hand a surprising but powerful channel for emotional release. Before we jump into the practice, let's prepare, because intention is everything here. This is not about forcing emotions out or digging for pain. It's about gently creating space for release. So choose a quiet place if you can. Turn off distractions, maybe dim the lights. Sit comfortably with your shoulders relaxed. Take one deep breath in and slowly let it out. Feel your body soften. Are you ready to try this with me right now? Don't worry, I'll guide you step by step. First, bring your attention to your hand. Look at the back of it carefully. Notice its lines, its veins, the tiny details. Think for a moment of everything these hands have done for you in your life, holding, creating, protecting, even wiping your tears. Whisper a small thank you to them. Gratitude is the doorway. Second, use the thumb of your other hand to press gently on the back, around the center or between the knuckles. Don't press too hard. This is not about pain, it's about presence. Just enough to feel that you are making contact. Third, breathe. Take a slow inhale, and as you exhale, let your body release a little bit of tension. Each breath is like a message telling your body it's safe to let go. Keep pressing gently, and with each exhale, imagine you are loosening knots tied deep inside. Fourth, add visualization. Picture those blocked emotions as small stones in the invisible backpack we talked about earlier. With every breath out, see one stone dissolving, falling away, making the load lighter. You don't even have to name the emotion, just trust that your body knows what it's letting go of. Fifth, let yourself feel. Maybe you'll notice warmth in your hand or a tingling sensation. Maybe you'll feel a wave of calmness or maybe even tears rising. All of it is okay. Don't judge. Don't stop it. This is your body's way of completing unfinished stories. Sixth, you can whisper gentle phrases as you press. Words like I release or I let go or even I'm safe. Choose whatever resonates with your heart. Speaking it aloud, even softly, gives the release a voice. Finally, when you feel ready, stop pressing. Rub your hands together softly, creating warmth. Then place both hands over your chest for a moment, as if sealing in the shift. Take one last deep breath. That's it. That's the technique. Now you may be asking, what should I expect? The truth is, everyone's experience is unique. Some people feel an immediate lightness, like a sigh of relief. Others notice tingling in their hands or arms. Sometimes you may yawn, cry, or simply feel more relaxed. For some, memories may come up, things you hadn't thought about in years. And sometimes, nothing dramatic happens at all in the moment. That's okay too. Healing works in layers. Even subtle shifts are meaningful, like moving one small stone from that heavy backpack. Have you ever tried something that seemed almost too simple, but ended up having a surprisingly deep effect? Share your story in the comments. I'd love to know. Your words might encourage someone else who's on the same path of healing. Of course, like any practice, there are gentle reminders. Don't press too hard. This is not about force. Don't expect a dramatic miracle every single time. The body heals gradually. And don't overthink. This is about feeling, not analyzing. Approach it with patience, curiosity, and kindness toward yourself. Each time you try, you're building a deeper relationship with your own inner wisdom. So remember, this practice may look ordinary from the outside, just pressing the back of your hand. But inside, it's extraordinary. It's a way of knocking gently on the door of your subconscious, of giving your body permission to finally let go of what it no longer needs to carry. And now that you know the steps, the question becomes, what happens when people actually live this practice? How does it show up in real life? Because the true power of this technique is seen not just in theory, but in the stories of those who've experienced it. Let's explore those next. So what really happens when someone presses the back of their hand with awareness? The idea might sound simple, maybe even unusual. But when real people give it a chance, the results often surprise them. Sometimes it's a deep emotional release, other times it's a subtle shift that grows over days. Each experience is unique, and that's what makes this practice so beautiful. If you tried it with me earlier, I'd love to know. What did you feel? Did your body respond in some small way? Share your answer in the comments, because your story might encourage someone else to try. Let me share with you the story of a woman I'll call Anna. For years, she carried grief from losing her father when she was very young. She thought she had moved on, but deep down, there were tears she had never allowed herself to cry. One evening, while experimenting with pressing the back of her hand, something shifted. Tears began to flow, not forced but gentle, like a stream finally finding its way back to the ocean. For the first time in years, Anna felt a lightness in her chest. It didn't erase the loss, but it allowed her heart to breathe again. That's the quiet power of this practice. It creates safe space for emotions you've buried to finally find release. Not every story is about deep trauma. Sometimes it's about the ordinary stress that piles up in everyday life. Take Daniel, for example. He worked long hours, constantly juggling deadlines and meetings. By the time he got home, he felt drained, irritable, and disconnected from his family. One day, during a break, he tried pressing the back of his hand as a quick experiment. To his surprise, within a few minutes, his mind felt clearer and his shoulders dropped. It wasn't a miracle cure for his stress, but it became his go-to reset button during hectic days. Whenever the tension built up, he'd use the technique for a couple of minutes, and it helped him return to his work with more focus and return home with more calmness. Can you imagine how different your own days might feel if you had a 2-minute tool to reset your emotions? Across many people's stories, certain benefits keep showing up again and again. Physically, some report feeling lighter, sleeping better, or noticing fewer headaches. Emotionally, many describe a sense of clarity, as if the fog in their mind has lifted. They feel less reactive to small triggers, more patient with loved ones, and more aware of their true feelings, instead of just pushing them away. Spiritually, the practice creates a sense of connection, a gentle reminder that you are more than your stress, more than your struggles, and that your body is always working with you, not against you. It's not about one dramatic session changing everything forever. It's about small, consistent practice, slowly transforming the way you feel, the way you respond, and even the way you carry yourself. And then there are stories that take people by surprise. Sarah, for example, didn't consider herself spiritual at all. She thought things like energy or emotional release were woo-woo, but out of curiosity she gave it a try. As she pressed the back of her hand, she noticed her breathing slow down. A deep calmness spread through her chest. She felt for the first time that her emotions weren't enemies to be controlled, but messengers to be listened to. That single experience shifted the way she approached her inner world. She began to see her emotions not as problems, but as guides. What started as skepticism turned into a doorway for self-discovery. These are just glimpses into the different ways this practice shows up. For some, it's the release of grief. For others, it's a reset from daily stress. For a few, it even sparks a spiritual awakening they never expected. Each story is unique, because each person carries a different backpack of hidden emotions. But what unites them all is the sense of relief, of lightness, of coming back home to themselves, from grief to stress to unexpected peace. The back of hand technique acts as a doorway, and every person who steps through it finds something waiting on the other side. Maybe for you it will be tears you've been holding back. Maybe it will be calmness in the middle of chaos. Or maybe it will be something entirely different, something only your body knows you need. Which of these stories resonated with you most? Or maybe you already tried and felt something unique in your own way. Share it in the comments. Your experience might inspire someone else to begin their journey. And now let's bring everything together. Let's reflect on the bigger picture of why releasing blocked emotions matters, and how this simple practice can transform not just moments, but the way you live your entire life. We've walked through quite a journey together in this video. From understanding the weight of blocked emotions, to exploring the hidden wisdom of our hands, to discovering how the simple act of pressing the back of your hand can open a door to healing. We've seen how much is waiting just beneath the surface. You've also heard stories of people finding relief, calmness, even unexpected peace through this practice. And now I want to ask you, after hearing all of this, do you see how powerful this simple touch could be in your own life? The beauty of this technique is in its simplicity. It doesn't require years of training, expensive tools, or complicated rituals. It's not meant to replace therapy or spirituality or science, but it stands alongside them as a gentle companion. Imagine discovering that you've been carrying a hidden key in your pocket this whole time, and that key can quietly unlock doors you didn't even know were closed inside you. Pressing the back of your hand may seem small, but sometimes it's the smallest gestures that open the biggest shifts. Next time stress sneaks in, or sadness weighs heavy, or restlessness fills your chest, what if you tried this? What if you gave yourself permission to pause and press, and allowed your body to show you what it's been holding? This matters not just for you, but for the world we're all part of. Think about it. What if more people regularly release their blocked emotions instead of carrying them around like heavy stones? How much less anger, resentment, or fear would spill out into families, workplaces, even strangers on the street? Collective healing always begins with individual healing. When one person feels lighter, they show up differently. They listen with more patience. They forgive more quickly. They smile more easily. Those ripples touch everyone around them. So ask yourself this. What would your family, your friendships, even your work look like if you carried less emotional baggage? But don't just take my word for it. I want you to try this for yourself. Press the back of your hand gently, with awareness. Notice your breath. Pay attention to what happens in your body, whether it's a sigh, a release of tension, or even just a quiet stillness. If nothing dramatic happens at first, that's okay. This isn't about chasing fireworks. It's about creating a safe space for your emotions to breathe. And then come back here and tell me, what did you feel? Even if it's confusion, even if it's subtle, your story matters. Share it in the comments, because you never know who else might read your words and feel inspired to begin. And if this video spoke to you, I invite you to take a moment right now. Drop a comment, click like or even dislike if that's how you felt. And most importantly, subscribe to this channel, The Spine Gospel. This is more than a channel. It's a circle of seekers, a place where we explore the body, spirit, and hidden wisdom that most of us overlook. Your engagement isn't just a number for the algorithm. It's what allows this space to grow into a real community of people who are ready to heal, ready to feel, and ready to rediscover themselves. So let me leave you with this thought. Your hand is more than skin and bone. It's a map back to yourself. Every time you press it with intention, you remind your body that it's safe to feel, safe to let go, and safe to heal. That's the gift you carry with you, right at the edge of your fingertips. Until we meet again, keep listening to your body, keep honoring your emotions, and keep walking toward your light.